Shalom Aleichem, and I'm very excited for a special Gadol story today in honor of the Baba Sali, whose yard site is today. So how could we not recount a little bit of a miracle story in honor of one of the greatest miracle workers in all of Jewish history, the Baba Sali, great Moroccan rabbi who passed away last generation in the 80s. So here's a story. The Baba Sali in I'm trying to think the best one to share. There's so many stories. Look up online, go on YouTube. I have many books. There's so many good stories. But what's the one that's coming down right now? So in 1974, Rav David Golan recounts he was sick with cancer. The doctors said that he was going to have to go through 6 special chemotherapy sessions, and if he survived that, then they'd have to decide if there would be surgery. But basically, in his mind, there wasn't much left of life. This was 6 years ago. He fell asleep, and in his dream, he visited the Baba Sali, who he knew well, and his son, Baruch. And he asked his friend Baruch if the Baba Sali could pray for him to have refuah shalema. He woke up. At 8 in the morning, they did tests, and the doctors were shocked. This is at Tel HaShomer. They had never seen anything like this. After only 2 sessions of chemotherapy, he was on his way to being healed, and indeed, he had a full recovery, and he gave this interview. So tzaddikim, even in their death, they're still able to work miracles. So we know the Baba Sali, even if right now, physically, he's not with us on the day of his Hilula, he's still spiritually with us. And I want to recount one more story. So Moshe Aaron Stern recounts a story. There was a man, and every day he would go to visit the Baba Sali. And he was married for a long time, and he was not able to have children. And he asked the Baba Sali, please, children. And he would write that. And Baba Sali would look at him and say, Matzav Avud, it's a lost cause. The doctors also had said that there was no chance that he would be able to have children. And he walked away dejected. But the next day, he was back asking the Baba Sali again. And so it continued for about 200 days. He would show up every day, ask for a bracha, and get rejected. Until finally, the family of the Baba Sali said, Rebbe, you got to have mercy on this person. You got to tell him to go home. It's not right. Baba Sali called him in and told him, Matzav Avud, there's no chance, I'm sorry. The man said, I believe in the power of prayer. And I know you're a great tzaddik. And I believe that your prayers can change anything. And the Baba Sali said, is that true? You really believe that? And he got up and he said, go buy yourself a baby carriage. And indeed, 9 months later, he had a child. It was one of the hundreds, perhaps thousands of stories out there about the great miracle worker, the Baba Sali. Just talking about it helps bring me emunah in tzaddikim and in things way beyond what we can see. Now, what made him so great? I actually have a whole book about his holy righteous practices. But, just to recount a story or two, the Baba Sali guarded over his eyes. He would never see anything impure or unholy. And he guarded over his mouth. He would not eat, even though he was always surrounded and giving l'chaims to other people to celebrate great tzaddikim. He would always have delicacies. He himself was noheg to fast from Motzei Shabbos to Motzei Shabbos for most of the time. He would not eat anything extra. No delights of this world, no physical delights. He hated those things. He guarded his mouth, and he would guard his ears from hearing anything bad about other Jews. He didn't want to hear about people who were Machal Shabbos. He said they should just do tshuva. He would not hear any bad words about Israel. He guarded his eyes, he guarded his mouth, and he guarded his ears, and only heard words of purity, Kedusha, and Torah. And when you do that, you have great powers. Whew. Hashem should bless us on this holy day to draw a little light of the tzaddik and to watch over ourselves a little bit stronger, to go in the ways of Kedusha and Tara. Of course, I'm primarily speaking to myself, but I'm hoping that you're listening too. And we should merit to see miracles, to see the Mashiach in the zchut of Rav Yisrael Abu Chatzera, the Hiliga, Baba Sali.